Hi, my name is Ryan Paige, and I did my uh, research paper on autistic children and their effects on their family members, both their parents as well as their siblings. Uh, Thought it was kind of an interesting topic just because you always people with disabilities too much about how it affects their family as well. So I kind of looked at that. Um, that was my basic questions that I was kind of looking at were, do children with disabilities have a negative effect on the people they live with? Do they cause them extra stress? Do they kind of negatively impact their life in some way? And also obviously other positive impacts that they have? And then I kind of compared those to the results that you find when you have a child that doesn't have a disability and try to compare those. So there's a lot of different research done out there about this kind of situation. Here's my abstract. So my basic hypotheses, I was guessing that there were probably some different emotional, social and mental issues for family members based on the extra responsibilities that they gain by having a child born with a disability. It can definitely be a life-altering event in some ways. Definitely changes their lives and kind of adds that extra responsibility to their life. Um, so I looked at that. I started out with this basic introduction, talking about autism. I focus on autism as a disability and just kind of broke down what it is and also how prominent it's become in our society. It's one of the fastest growing disabilities, and it's affecting more and more children each year. So I looked at that, and then once I established the basics about autism, I then went into some of the effects first that it had on the siblings. There were a lot of different studies. One was done by Vadasi, Fuel, Meyer, and Shell, and they kind of went into the basic mental issues that derive from having a sibling that has a disability. And this can come from the child getting extra attention. The other child can feel sometimes jealous, left out, neglected in some ways. Um, Other issues, well, first of all, they can feel that they have to be self-dependent. Uh, there's the study concluded that siblings of disabled children are more prone to emotional issues and increased demands as a result of their brother or sister disability. Um, Another um, big study that was done on this was done by Grossman in 1972. In this one, they looked at a little bit older subjects, which were college age siblings of disabled children. Uh, Came from a wide range of socioeconomic backgrounds and just kind of broke down the fact that they were at greater risk for emotional and social distress, which was a finding that was found throughout all social classes. So that was something that stayed the same. I went through a couple other studies that really broke down the sibling effect and just the different ways in which they were affected. And it definitely held true to my hypothesis that siblings had some negative effects from their disabled sibling. Then I moved on to effects on parents. There's been a wide array of studies done on this subject. Uh, Looking specifically at autism, these children, from the time they're young, they need extra attention, extra help with their schoolwork and just learning, social, their social development, which their parents kind of take on a lot of responsibility there, and making sure that their child is kind of working toward catching up with the other children. So that definitely puts a lot more stress on their lives. One of the main studies done was by Mary Constantieris and Sula Homatitis. They looked at 96 different parents, and they were looking at the involvement levels of mothers and fathers in the lives of autistic children compared to the involvement levels of mothers and fathers in the lives of a non-disabled child, and there were some distinct differences. A lot of the parents, especially the mothers, had to spend a lot of extra time with the basic tasks with their autistic child than compared to a non-disabled child. And also, the study found that the mothers seem to take on more responsibility on average than the fathers, which was kind of a unique finding. Kind of shows that maybe the mothers have even more are more affected than the fathers in some cases. Uh, the study went on to talk about the fact that uh, the fathers were trying to maybe be more associated with the fun aspects of a child's life, but didn't help out as much with the more tedious, difficult activities such as getting the child dressed, bathing them, feeding them, things like that. So that was a really interesting study. I went on to look at another study. This one was done by R.P. Hastings, who was a professor at the School of Psychology at the University of Wales, Bangor. He looked at 18 married couples who were the parents of children with autism, and he was looking at their basic mental health and the stress levels, which is something that I was really interested in finding out about. He used some formulas, and he found that there is a little difference between the mothers and fathers of children with autism in terms of their actual stress. However, the mothers had more reports of anxiety as compared to fathers, and in general, parents of disabled and autistic children had more mental health issues and reported higher stress levels, um, which was met my hypothesis. So that was really kind of interesting to find out. One of the issues that this study found with the fathers especially, was that they were trying to overcompensate with their children and kind of spend extra time with them on certain tasks to make up for not helping out with other tasks. Uh, so that was kind of unique as well. Went through a couple other studies that really focused on the different effects of the disabled children on their parents. Then I went into my conclusion, which is kind of a focus on society as a whole and what we can do as a society to help these parents out so that they don't feel like they have to take on. There's so much more issues to deal with and responsibilities to deal with when they have an autistic child or a disabled child, and it's on us as a society to create a place where disabled children don't have to go through so many extra uh, kind of things in order to really be on the same level as other children. So there's definitely some a lot of room we can go, a lot of impacts that we can have in order to make sure that these parents are not being so negatively affected and can have they don't have to worry, about having a disabled child as much. Um, I think throughout this research paper, I found I didn't find too much trouble with it. As far as finding sources, I think I found quite a few that really were what I was looking for, and then had some really good studies done about my topic. So that was really nice to get some hard, concrete data in order to back up what I was talking about. It was definitely not easy to write 15 pages, but I think once I got going on the topic, I found it to be really interesting and kind of just rolled with that. Um, this is a subject that I think really ties into this class because it not only shows where we're currently at in society regarding disabled children, but furthermore shows where we can go and different changes that we can make to help out disabled people and their families so that they don't feel disabled and that they can have an equal chance as everyone else. If we make some improvements and we look at what's going on and make changes, there's no reason why a disabled person can't do just as much, if not more, than a non-disabled person. Um, so I really found this topic to be interesting, and I think it really shows that disability doesn't just affect the people who are disabled, but those around them who want to help them, want to just make sure that they have the most chance for success in life. So that means that our society is not just working toward the minority of disabled people, which is about 20% of our overall population, but we're helping even more people than that by making improvements, by ending the stigmas regarding disabilities, and just overall by understanding people with disabilities even more. Thank you.